The Hangduan Mountains are a densely rich biological hotspot. Primarily consisting of coniferous forests, they are located in southeast China's Yunnan Plateau. Although this mountain range is still very unexplored, it has been greatly affected by human influence. Home to over 12,000 species, 3,500 of which are endemic, the Hangduan Mountains serve as one of China's most biodiverse ecosystems. The flora and fauna have enticed many scientists and tourists to this highly complex ecosystem.
Of all the species in the Hangduan Mountains, there are 10 which stood out and 3 which are unique to the mountains. These 3 are the giant panda, Yunnan golden monkey, and clouded leopard. Of the 10 which are on our food web, the producers are arrow and umbrella bamboo, lichens, and cushion plants, whose main source of energy is the sun. These are also all autotrophs. The primary consumers which eat the producers are herbivores are the red and giant pandas, which eat the bamboos, flea beetles, which also eat bamboo, snow trout, which eat cushion plants, and Himalayan and black musk deer, which eat lichens and cushion plants. Next are the secondary consumers, which are omnivores. This includes the Yunnan golden monkey, which eats flea beetles, the Lady Amherst pheasant, which also eats a flea beetle, and the black-necked crane, which eats a flea beetle as well. Lastly is the tertiary consumers, which includes the clouded leopard, which eats the Yunnan golden monkey, Lady Amherst pheasant, black-necked crane, and musk deer, making it a carnivore. All primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers are heterotrophs.
In this energy pyramid, the producers, which include the bamboos, lichens, and cushion plants, capture all of the energy from the sun that fuels the energy pyramid. Only 10% of this energy is passed on to the next trophic level, while the rest is released as heat. The primary consumers receive 10% of the energy, then 1% of the energy is given to the secondary consumers. Finally, 0.1% of the energy makes its way to the tertiary consumers. With southeastern China being the wettest part of the country, it is easy to come to the conclusion that the water cycle is a crucial matter cycle that occurs in the Hangduan Mountains. The summer monsoons bring in heavy rainfall from the Indian and Pacific Oceans. This precipitation makes up about 80% of the annual precipitation of China. Also, the Hangduan Mountains are a pit stop on the routes of 4 of China's most important rivers, the Yangtze, Mekong, Salween, and Irrawaddy. The water cycle begins with the heavy rainfall that seeps into the soil, providing a water source for the lush rainforest, and then follows the runoff which flows down into the deep river valleys. These rivers empty into various seas such as the South China Sea, East China Sea, and Andaman Sea. During the dry season, water from the rivers is evaporated and condensed into small water droplets, while water from the lush vegetation of the rainforest is transpired and also condensed into small water droplets. Once the droplets grow big enough, the cycle is repeated. People have influenced the water cycle by deforestation. Trees participate in the water cycle by transferring large amounts of water vapor into the atmosphere through the process of transpiration. The lack of trees means less water vapor is condensed into precipitation, therefore causing a decrease in rainfall and less water circulating through the ecosystem. The main limiting factors in this ecosystem include the density-independent factor of logging and the density-dependent factor of competition. Species such as the giant panda are on the verge of extinction as their habitat has been cut down. Pandas are finding themselves in one of the many nature reserves in China. Although giant pandas and red pandas live in peace with each other, the deforestation causes a lack of food, therefore creating competition. Giant pandas not only compete with red pandas for food, but also bamboo rats and wild boars. Competition in this ecosystem has contributed to the decrease in giant panda populations.
In the Hangduan Mountains, humans make a large effect on the environment. From commercial logging to tourism to hunting, humans largely influence the environment. For example, commercial logging was to blame for a large portion of deforestation, which increased erosion and led to flooding of rivers such as the Yangtze, and also causing siltation. Because of logging, conservationists are led to believe that less than 10% of the original forest remains. Along with logging, tourism also takes a toll on the mountains. Tourism development includes chairlifts, recreational facilities, and roads. When tourists come into the mountains, merchants and local villagers will try to sell them things that they've hunted, such as panda or leopard pelts or pheasant feathers. They will also try to sell the tourists plants that they've taken from throughout the region, such as cushion plants and forest mushrooms. All of this contributes to the high number of endangered species in the area. Although humans have a negative influence in the mountains, many are still trying to create a positive one instead. In 1998, the Chinese government created a ban on commercial logging. Although the ban was only active in the Hangduan region and not the whole mountains, it was the start of various protection actions. Following the ban on logging, the government also forbade hunting. Although this did not completely stop the illegal hunting and trade, it did minimize it for a while, due to the enforcement not to hunt. They also created various parks and reserves such as the Gaoligong Nature Reserve, which works to preserve forests.